Sunday Painter.
I want to introduce you to an artist you may have not heard of. John William Waterhouse. In this short video, we will take a quick look at an art just to pique your curiosity to learn about a new art and a new way of seeing. For more art information like this, subscribe to the Sunday Painter and hit the little bell so you know when I post a new art-related video. Also, you can leave a name of an artist you would like to know more about in the comments. So who is Waterhouse and how learning about his art may change how you do yours? Painting is silent poetry, and poetry is painting that speaks. I always loved Waterhouse. This is where I learned some of the myths I know today. After learning the story behind the painting, they became rich in fantasy and adventure. And still does today. He left behind a few unfinished paintings with preliminary drawings. I thought of making another video going through each work, adding some of his completed drawings. Let me know if you would like to see this in the comments. Now let's learn a little bit about who was Waterhouse and why he painted myths. John William Waterhouse, 1849 to 1917. He was an English painter known for working first in the academic style and for then embracing the Pre-Raphaelite brotherhoods and subject matter. His artworks were known for their depictions of women from both ancient Greek mythology and Arthurian legend. Born in the city of Rome to the English painters William and Isabella Waterhouse in 1849, in the same year that the members of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, later known as the Pre-Raphaelites, was a group of English painters, poets, and art critics, founded in 1848. The group sought a return to the abundant detail, intense colors and complex compositions of Quattrocento Italian art. They rejected what they regarded as the mechanistic approach first adopted by Mannerist artists who succeeded Raphael and Michelangelo. The Brotherhood believed the classical poses and elegant compositions of Raphael in particular had been a corrupting influence on the academic teaching of art. His parents were English, both painters. So he grew up in a house where art was at the center. In 1854, the Waterhouses returned to England and moved to a newly built house in South Kensington, London. He was 5 years of age at this time in the new house, which was near to the newly founded Victoria and Albert Museum. Waterhouse, or Nino as he was nicknamed, for Giovannino, Little John, he was the eldest of three, a younger brother Edwin and a sister named Jessie. When Nino was 8, he experienced the death of his mother, and it was shortly afterwards that his father remarried. Between 1861 and 1870 his father and new stepmother birthed 4 children, which was a drastic life change for Nino and his 2 younger biological siblings. In 1861 Nino had to leave school and his sister Jessie went to live with an aunt. Luckily it wasn't too long before his expanding family had reached some financial success. He was able to begin schooling in classical history, literature and mythology, and he also learned Latin at an unidentified Leeds school. Coming from an artistic family, was encouraged to become involved in drawing, and often sketched artworks that he found in the British Museum and the National Gallery. Waterhouse did not have a particularly strong urge to become a painter in his younger years. He was more interested in engineering. It is said that if he did want to look at art, he would take advantage of the exhibits held at his Leeds school and take part in enriching services in London during the holidays. He enrolled in the Royal Academy of Art. He soon began exhibiting at their annual summer exhibitions, focusing on the creation of large canvas works depicting scenes from the daily life and mythology of ancient Greece. Many of his paintings are based on authors such as Homer, Shakespeare, Tennyson, or Keats. Initially, he studied as a sculptor. He then switched courses to study painting. Waterhouse's early works were not Pre-Raphaelite in nature, but were of classical themes in the spirit of Alma Tadema and Frederick Leighton. Throughout his teens and into early adulthood, Waterhouse would assist his father in the studio. This enhanced his passion for art further. After his studies ended, Waterhouse began helping his father with background painting for commissioned portraits. Shortly following this, between the years of 1868 and 1877, his name appeared in various museum registers. He started create works of art based off of poetry because it provides the audience with a visual image. By having a visual image with the poem, it becomes easier to analyze art and poetry together because the reader can use both works to explore the author's purpose. Using images from a poem to recreate the mood of adventure. Like many of the other artists of his generation, Waterhouse used real-life models when sketching or painting. Although there is no formal record of the sitter he used, Personal letters by the artist show that his wife, sister, and sister-in-law all modeled for him at certain times. Famous models of the day including Jennifer Flora and Beatrice Flaxman also feature in some of his paintings. The magical transformation of human beings into flowers, trees, and animals. Also evident here is Waterhouse's close association of women with flowers, variously their beauty, inevitable decay, and function as vessels of new growth. These themes, along with the quintessentially romantic one of unfulfilled love, were clearly on Waterhouse's mind in the mid-1900s. Waterhouse communicates his distinctive aesthetic vision through his use of color. Throughout his career, he experimented with color as an element with seemingly spatial qualities. His works have an unusual formalism. Figures and settings often appear not merely realistic but somewhat hyperreal. Yet paradoxically, Waterhouse's works border on the abstract, prioritizing chromatic features over content. They invite us to focus on colors and through them line, shape, texture and rhythm. Painting compelling composition, glowing color and impressionist inflected technique, his paintings are admired for their beauty, yet at the same time they have the power to transport the viewer into a romantic world of myth and legend. His depictions of female beauty reflect his age's complex and ambivalent attitudes towards women, in which Victorian ideals of sentiment and duty commingled with less noble undercurrents of erotic desire and misogyny. Miracles, magic and the power of prophecy are the common themes. Choosing tragic or brutal stories and yet finding the beauty or calm in them. He always creates luminous porcelain skin for his women, making them look pure, innocent and ethereal. The skin tone was undoubtedly fashionable and considered the height of beauty in Waterhouse's Victorian England. This light skin is often contrasted with dark eyes and Titian hair. The artist created equal detail in the background of his paintings as he does his foreground, and this is complemented by his use of color throughout. The colors used in the background are often muted so as not to distract from the main scene, and yet they also reflect the feel and mood of the piece. The style of clothing which Waterhouse places his women in, is ultimately romantic. A cross between medieval and Greco-Roman, the artist uses drapery to create movement. Waterhouse also uses color to represent the characteristic of the person portrayed. For instance, dark blues of purples are often used for dangerous or powerful women. Pinks and softer shades are more commonly used for lighter moods. Translucent fabric is used to create subtle sexuality for the women, without them being completely nude or too provocative. Waterhouse manages to create a great deal of movement in his paintings, and this helps to add realism. The viewer feels like they are almost in the scene as well. In order to do this, he uses light and shadow, and creates rippling clothes and wild hair. The level of detail in Waterhouse paintings certainly helps to create this movement. Without the paintings would become dreamy and unrealistic. Like the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood from which Waterhouse took so much inspiration, he used symbolism to establish key themes in each piece, giving a narrative to his paintings. Beautiful women weaving, such as the Lady of Shalott, the artist uses the act of weaving as a symbol of the women's stagnate life, constantly waiting and filling her time with idle pursuits. Although one of Waterhouse's primary concerns was beauty, this symbolism shows that, as with other Pre-Raphaelite artists, he also felt that art should have a meaning. Waterhouse often created several studies of the same story of person, and with this showed his ability to depict and alter characters. This not only captivates the viewer but shows his development as an artist. So you want to try to paint a Waterhouse or paint like him. With trying to paint in the style of any artist, you first have to understand the artist. What is the point if you don't? You need to go much deeper into the artist if you're truly trying to emulate their style. Waterhouse had thoughts, feelings and emotions and a personality. Don't think you can copy someone from technique alone. Get to know the artist first, then their technique. This also means you must study the techniques and approaches of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. I would suggest to study why they painted and add to your work, not to become another Waterhouse but create new works in the style of narrative painting. Read and dream, then paint. As with all things, there comes an end. Waterhouse married Esther Kenworthy in 1883. His wife was the daughter of an art schoolmaster. She had artistic talents herself and had exhibited her work at the Royal Academy. These consisted predominantly of flower paintings. The couple lived together over his Primrose Studios. First at number 3 and then later at number 6. Their homes were later occupied by artists including Patrick Caulfield and Arthur Rackham. Although the couple had 2 children together, They both tragically died in childhood. Very little else is known about his personal life, as there are very few facts from his life to fill in the blanks. John William Waterhouse died in 1917 in London. During the final years of his life, he was suffering from cancer, and it attributed to his death. He was counted among the last few painters who used subjects to paint their paintings. His wife, Esther, outlived him by 27 years. She died peacefully in a nursing home in 1944. The couple are laid to rest beside each other at Kensal Green Cemetery, in London. Hope you enjoyed this short documentary. There is always more to Waterhouse, and I hope this sparks your curiosity. For more art video and related art subjects, subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to look outstanding and get your quality custom distressed artist tees. The link is in the description below. Don't miss out. You may find something you like or a gift for someone, nowhere else in the world. Be unique. Please leave a positive comment. Have a great day and thanks for watching.